Mr. Wilson, it's 7 p.m. All right. Welcome to the Budget and Finance meeting. It is 7 p.m. We're going to get started. Before we get started, I wanted to just make sure we accept the meeting minutes from July and August. Did you guys receive the minutes I sent in the email? There are two.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying, yes, ma'am, I received that.
There are two sets of minutes for July and August. September meeting minutes will be, I will have them in November along with October as well. So we just need to accept those minutes. And I wanted to make a note before we accept the minutes that Ms. Dukestein, had put a added note in there, and make sure everyone read that note before we accept the minutes, so we're clear. Do you guys need me to read it, or did you guys already?
I did read the note, and honestly, I didn't understand it. So
Mr. Wilson?
I'm good. I don't have no issues.
Okay. Mr. Wilson accepts the minutes?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Thorpe?
sure.
Okay. Meetings accepted for July and August. We'll move on to the agenda. First up, we have our monthly finance update for September's monthly report. And I'll pass that to Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. I did provide you a month-end balancing sheet for the year 2020-24, month 9, September. Can you hear me okay? Okay, just so that you are just aware. The report points out not only year-to-date receipts, but also month-to-date. So we have a month-to-date total, and when you look further down, you'll see the year-to-date and month-to-date expenses, which balances at the bottom with the fund in the bank. I won't elaborate on that much more. You need a copy? Yes. I do not. I've provided them for the committee members. I'm sorry.
Do we have
No,
this
no, that's
electronically?
okay. She has
Yes.
To attach to the minute?
Yes, I will attach it to the minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't want to talk.
That's fine. Okay. All right. Is that it?
So,
Sandra?
yes, September did balance.
Mhm.
And then for the Hinkle report, what I would like to do is simply read a few lines from our management representation letter compilation. The Hinkle report itself is ready to be filed. It will be uploaded to the Auditor of State's website on tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
That's big.
The only few things I want to point out is that in connection with the compilation of the financial statements, the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city of North College Hill, Hamilton County as of and for the year end December 31st, 2023. As of today, October 28th, 2024, is as follows. All transactions have been recorded and are reflected in the financial statements. We have no knowledge of fraud or suspected fraud affecting the entity involving management, employees who have significant roles in internal control, or others when the fraud could have a material effect on the financial statements or schedule of federal awards expenditures. We have no knowledge of any allegations of fraud or suspected fraud affecting the entity's financial statements communicated by employees, former employees, regulators, or others. We are not aware of any instances of noncompliance or suspected noncompliance with laws and regulations whose effects should be considered when preparing financial statements. There's no knowledge of known actual or possible litigation and claims whose effects should be considered when preparing the financial statements. And there are no related parties or related party relationships or transactions that are required to be accounted for or disclosed. All the information relevant to the use of the going concern assumption in the financial statements properly accounted for all events occurring subsequent to the date of the financial statements. So the Hinkle report finds that the City of North College Hill is in good standing for the 2024 audit. And we'll hear from the auditors next after this is filed.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
I have a question.
Ms. Zorb.
Ms. Anderson, do we have any type of ETA on when the auditor will come back?
So the auditor typically is at the end of the fiscal year in December. I have not been contacted for a list of tests yet.
So the auditor will not respond to this Hinkle being uploaded?
Of
They'll
course,
just-
that's what they,
Oh,
that's what it's hinged upon. Us turning in the Hinkle report, which will be tomorrow.
I thought you said you had a question.
I'm just making sure it's done.
So we're well ahead of the schedule of, for the audit for 2024.
Are we for sure that we are going to have an audit? Is it a possibility that we won't have one this year?
We will have an audit for 2024, that is for certain. Now, whether or not we're going to have one next year is not certain.
Okay.
Well, and that's if we need one
Got it.
next year.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. That's the Hinkle report for 2023. The end-of-year wrap-up must be completed before the last council meeting in December. This council meeting is on December the 16th. Items
But you may
such
have-
as the 2024 Hinkle, the 2025 budget allocations, the 2025 salary ordinance, and the 2025 cleanup ordinance will be in those reports.
I have a question.
So.
Yes, Ms. Zorb?
Certainly, we're going to see the budget
That will be
before
made public is the
December
Hinkle
20,
report itself,
December the
which will be
16th,
uploaded
right?
tomorrow.
Like, I anticipated seeing the budget tonight, some iteration of the budget.
That's the schedule.
Yeah, that was the schedule of that.
The schedule that you send out to Ms. Anderson.
Oh, she will have that tonight?
No, look at your email.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, you guys, bear with me.
Oh, no, we got you.
Or Ms. Anderson, you got your email?
I do not have my.
End of year
email.
timing.
Yeah.
Yes, we will see that. My apologies, the November 15th meeting for review. She will have it. She will have the 2025 budget allocations needed to council for review by November the 15th.
Correct.
Apologies. Yes.
Could you tell me that date one more time? Sorry.
The 15th of November.
Thank you.
So all
Madam
of-
Chair.
Yes.
So this information that's coming out, I mean, what is it, the entire budget for the city, for the whole, for 2025?
Yes, it's the 2025 allocation. So to reiterate, sorry, you guys, the 2025 salary ordinance, the 2025 budget allocations, and the 2025 cleanup ordinance. She will have those to us for review for the November the 15th. Ms. Anderson, is that correct?
Correct.
Sorry.
Now, I am working with Ms. Chamberlain on the budget, so she does have a say-so in that.
Mhm. Ms. Orr, did that answer your questions, ma'am?
It did, thank you.
Okay. All right, are we ready to move on to the next item on the agenda?
I do have a question, Madam Chair, if I can ask. There have been so many speculations.
Excuse me. I know, but I'm gonna get you.
Yep. Kathy Carrollton, you know where I live, just kidding.
No.
6718
I don't know
Delaware
you.
Drive. Lord. So this is, I'm not sure if I should address who or, but this is excellent. I mean, that statement that we have no knowledge of any allegations of fraud or suspected fraud, that whole statement, as many people have made hints or made comments of such actions. I am wondering, and Madam Mayor, I will ask, since you are present in the room, good evening, if this can be made public. If you want to ask Dieters, if you want to ask whomever, but this is really good information that the city has been beat up so bad this year. Now, this is good information that should be shared. We have no knowledge of any allegations of fraud or suspected fraud affecting the entire, or the entities, and then there's another statement that I would like to make sure that is emphasized when public record are made. We have, what was one thing on here? We have properly accounted for all events occurring subsequent to the date of the financial statements and for which the applicable financial reporting framework requires adjustment or disclosure have been adjusted or disclosed. So you've done your job thoroughly. You've executed, you've come in, you've done it to the T. So can this be made public at some point? And thank you for cleaning up some mess.
Madam Mayor?
Madam Chair, to answer Ms. Carrollton's question, once it is uploaded and officially set into place, then we will make it public. It'll be public anyway. Any statement that they made, it will be found on their website in regards to us. But we can make it public once it's already uploaded. Once our Hinkle is uploaded and received.
Any more questions on the Hinkle report or the end of year wrap up? All right, let's move on to the second item on the agenda, the part-time fire department MOU. Mr. Kurt Kaufman will be taking this back to the union to ensure the part-time firefighters agreement. Ms. Anderson already emailed him to confirm the timing for the November council meeting so that we can have them report back to us after he takes it back to them in that time. So, Ms. Anderson, did he reply back yet, as of yet?
I do not have a reply back from him as of yet.
Okay.
I will reiterate, though. I'll follow up.
Next up,
Can you give me 1 second?
yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Thank you.
You ready? I know it's hard taking minutes. Next up on the agenda is the city building update. We have just clarification on quotes versus the bids. quotes are just an estimate of what it may take to fix the building, or whatever, removing the asbestos, or even quote versus, we said we're moving forward to fixing it. And the bids are when we're ready to move forward, and we're actually getting different bids from contractors, and the quotes are just where we need to know where we're going to start the bids.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think I heard you say we are in the process of getting bids now?
No, sorry. We will, I want to make sure my verbiage is correctly. Once we make the decision to move forward, we will move to that stage of getting the bids. I mean, the quotes, and then bids. So we already, moving
We
to get
have
the bids.
quotes.
Because at the last council, Ms. Chamberlain we made a motion for Ms. Chamberlain to move forward. So that's where we are. So we are at the stage where we're going to have companies give us bids. Who can bid, or the RFP, I believe it was. So we could be close to the amounts where we needed to start. Yes, Ms. Dukestein. Yes, please.
I just want to, well, my name is Arias Dukestein. I live at 6842 Marvin Avenue. And so there was, when I was helping Ms. Chichester off board, I wanted her to clarify the difference between a quote versus a bid, because some of the language in our previous meetings, it was saying, well, you have to have an RFP to get specific things. And that is true if we're getting a bid. We have not yet gotten any bids. We've only acquired quotes. And the difference is quotes kind of give us an estimate so that we can look with an educated decision to decipher if we want to move forward to put an RFP in place and bid. And I'm saying y'all. So I'm just still fixing my language. The reason that I felt that was important is because Ms. Chamberlain had mentioned that she was a bit confused about how we were going about things, and I just want to make sure that quotes are not costing the city anything. They are giving their fair assessment. One thing that in the quotes that we have gotten prior, and there may be more quotes as Ms. Chichester and Ms. Zorb work together in the rest of budget and finance, there may be additional quotes, but the ones that we already have, they are able to move right into the RFP process. So typically what happens is you'll ask them to come out, different varying construction companies in the quote phase, and they should have all of the standard regulations met in within their organization to be able to come out for the bid once if and when we decide that is the process. And then you naturally would invite them out as a courtesy to put their bid in, only because, inclusive of the fact that they gave us the quote for free. So it's just, I kind of wanted to just hone in on that process, because there was a lot of language and there was a lot of vocabulary that was getting crossed. I kept using the word quote, but I think other people were saying we have to get a bid, and that part is true. But we're not at that point yet, because we haven't decided whether or not we were going to go forward, or you guys are going to go forward. And then I had Miss Anderson print off some documents. I had given you all these documents before, but I'll let you give them to Ms. Chichester, and she can decide if she wants to utilize that for any information on this or not. But it was, so that's it. I don't want to steal her meeting.
No, thank you. Very helpful. Like I tell everyone, this is a very learning curve for me, so I want to make sure the language is accurate. And so, thank you. I'll make
Madam
copies
Chair.
of this, and I was just going to say I can make copies and add it into the minutes since she was giving it to me. Is that what you were going to ask?
It is not.
Okay, go ahead, Ms.
I just wanted to point out the reason I brought up RFPs was because I work with contracts all the time, and when you establish an RFP that makes sure that every one of your contractors is bidding exactly the same, so that you can make apples to apples comparisons
Absolutely.
and make sure that everyone is covering the same thing. That's the reason why I brought up the RFP process.
No,
Madam Chair.
yes, Mr. Wilson.
So I've participated in the RFP process, and it's necessarily, the goal is to put out the information that we need. The RFP, once you apply that RFP, each individual has, the opportunity to try and meet the requirements, you know what I'm saying? So basically that RFP is just, hey, what we looking at, what we like to get done. So when they take a look at that and they submit their RFP, it's going to try and be as close to what we asked to have done, and they'll try to keep it within the budget, but sometimes it might go outside, just to give you guys a heads up, so.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Oh, I expected more response from that. Thank you. Okay. All right. Move on to the next agenda. Ms. Chamberlain is not here to give the update on the CDBG splash pad, so we're going to skip that. I don't have an update with her not being present on that as of now. The Dunson bench, I have an great update on that. It was delivered Friday, and Public Works is working to put it together today. I'm awaiting the install date, so they'll let me know the day that they're going to do the installation, so we can invite the family out and have that ceremony for that Dunson bench. Any questions or updates on that? So now we're here to the audience questions and remarks portion. We'll take 5 minutes for that if anybody has anything. Nope, okay. Old business? No.
I'll take that since you don't have any. Can I have that document?
Would you like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, again, Aria Stugstein, 6842 Marvin Avenue. So I just wanted to draw what I had her give to Ms. Chichester because she wasn't on council at that time. And I didn't know if anyone else would forward it to her, but I did pass this out to all of council and everyone. And it's just more information about the quotes. And I'm pushing it because it's a big topic. We have the comprehensive plan pending out there. And what I would like to see Budget and Finance and Council do, along with the rest of the community and citizens, is to make a good decision based on information. I know that it probably seems like different individuals are leaning one way or the other. And I will tell you, I have a personal investment in seeing it one way. However, I am at the forefront and have been doing a lot of research beyond why I feel the way I feel. So don't take me as a guide. I mean, get the information for yourselves, because the information will not lie to us. And we need to make an informed decision. We are challenged with that as a community and a city. When I say we, I mean the city is. And so what I included in here when I originally gave this paperwork out was the paperwork from Ms. Iki that she received back in June of 2023. And the estimate, what they said about the building, and then the quotes that follow. So the members, or I'm sorry, the construction companies that came out, they came out with having this information from Ms. Iki, and they were able to give quotes based on the damage that was assessed at that time per the environmental study and the structural study. I think that's important to know, because it's not just pulling a quote out of the sky to decipher, okay, this is what it's going to be. So some of the questions were, hey, is that environmental study going to be performed again once the work is done to ensure that none of those asbestos spores are in there? One of the things that needs to be taken into serious consideration is that we will have to remove that asbestos whether we demolish the building or not. And so when you're looking at price, we need to consider that, and also understand that this building here, it is not our permanent building. We can't stay here.
All right.
So even if you're looking at the comprehensive plan, ask yourself, can that comprehensive plan, can we stay here for 5 to 10 years?
No.
So you've got to ask yourself the hard questions. You have to ask, is the comprehensive plan providing financial stability? When that comprehensive plan was being, thought of, compiled, put together, it didn't necessarily have the girth of where we are financially to substantiate. We're going to have to do some things to make money. We're going to have to do some things to pull money in either way. But I just want you guys to start thinking in the framework of how much money are we going to work for? How much capital campaign are we going to have to raise in order to get it done? Because we need to make the numbers make sense. There is a culmination of making the numbers make sense, doing what is best for the community at large and where we want to see the community go. And you should not dig your heels in the ground just because you've in the past not wanted to renovate the building, or that you do want to renovate the building. Make sure that the numbers make sense. Make sure that the vision of the city and the community makes sense. And I think when you start to research, even in lieu of the comprehensive plan, it will help to give you guidance on what you think is best for the community. So I'm just heavily pressing on members of council, members of the community, that they look at the information and don't sidestep based on where your gut has been. Make it an informed decision. That's it.
Thank you. And I just want to second that motion. We need to do, or second that statement, we need to do what's best for our city and the other organizations housed within that city building. I spoke with the Historical Society on Saturday, who were coming here to meet, and they were asking me when did I think they'd be able to be back in their home or even have a permanent space, and I couldn't answer questions for them. But I would like for us to have those questions very soon for our community, because we do need to be back in our home.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
So where are we sitting at with this building right now? I mean, how are we sitting? Is it still sitting in the Budget and Finance Committee or what? I'm like, where is it at right now? Are we just still conversating about it? Or are we still needed to be assigned?
Yes, Ms. Zorb.
I believe due to the motion you made, it's in Ms. Chamberlain's hand.
All right.
I was going to say
I
we
mean,
took a step.
that was your motion.
Yeah, I know, but I was just saying, do we? I did make that motion as far as to continue into looking at it, but I'm just saying, do we? Even though it's there now, what do I need to do from there? Just follow up on that, or once she done that, and turn it into us, do we move it to a committee or what?
I think.
Like, what's our next step now that we have that motion?
Yes, Ms. Mayor.
Made at a regular council meeting, but it wasn't removed from the finance committee.
All right.
Right.
As far as I understand, it's still in the finance.
In the finance, that's where I needed to know.
For the city administrator to look into, or whatever your motion was.
Right, yes.
But it's still within the
In the finance committee. So once we get that completed, we will have to move it out of your committee into whatever necessary committee, right?
I think after she comes back with a report, then we can decide what we should do from there, because we don't know what she's going to come back and say. But we could, after she comes back with her report and say, this is X, Y, and Z, then I think we make trying to make sure my verbiage is correct. We send it, yes, for legislation. Is that correct? Ms. Mayor? Oh.
I can make a suggestion.
Yes.
you all continue to look at the quotes that are there.
Absolutely.
Simultaneously with compiling the recommendations per the comprehensive plan that's in Erica Underwood's committee.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use all of that
Together.
information with Ms. Chamberlain's report to kind of decide how you're gonna go forward in 2025.
That's what I was thinking as
So
well.
I think this time from now until the end of the year is laying into the information
Mm-hmm.
and letting it tell you the story that you need. And I also believe that, because you have so much to take care of in the Budget and Finance Committee,
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna be pretty busy with those, because those documents that Ms. Anderson is going to present are gonna be a lot of conversation. So you can continue to, kind of invest in getting, familiarizing yourself with the information as you go forward throughout the year.
Right.
That's just what I would suggest.
No, that's what I was stating. We were going to wait and get her answer and then make the decision from that point, because we won't know what she will come back. How long ago was that quote done?
This quote, all the quotes were done within the last 6 months.
Okay, good.
They're good through
Good.
the end of the year.
Good. That's what I was worried about. So we are looking at another time frame, or we're looking at a time frame to making sure those quotes are still valid and not letting them expire and have to restart the process. That's something we don't want to do. We don't want to go backwards.
And you can always reach out to those particular ones and ask them if they were extended time.
Okay. Anything else?
We'll talk later.
Okay.
This commentary's open.
Might as well.
Kathy Curitan, 6718 Devonwood Drive. Okay, so I think I would like to just back up just a little bit to maybe make sure there are things that Ms. Dukestein so thoroughly reviewed, executed, and delivered to us. And I want to make sure that now Ms. Zorb and Ms. Chichester are picking those up where they were left off. And I'm sure that they are. I'm just looking for that communication on that. So one of those areas would be regarding the ARPA funds. So before I even talk about that, have you all talked about that or spoke about it with each other at all?
Could you be more specific about which ARPA fund?
So I believe that there was a point in time in which the police did not get their ARPA funds for 2024. It was mentioned on the 8/12 the 8/12 Budget and Finance meeting. There were conversations and discussions relative to the ARPA funds not applied for 2024 for police, but fire got theirs. Was that on anybody's committee or
Ms.
anybody's agenda to discuss? So let me ask the questions.
I believe that question would be more directed to Ms. Anderson.
That's what I was going to say. And Ms. Chamberlain was going to get that update, I believe, Ms. Anderson, but she wasn't here. Is that correct?
So Ms. Chamberlain is heavily involved in the ARPA situation. She's totally taken that on.
She's taking it upon independently herself.
Yes, those questions really need to come from Mrs. Chamberlain.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. And then the next question is relative to, thank you again for getting that HINCO off of your books. I'm so glad to hear about that. But what about the tax extension? Was that granted? And if so,
I don't know anything about a tax extension, or do you?
okay.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson?
Okay.
Are you referring to the tax
Question should've
budget?
been brought up.
That's correct, yes.
2025 tax budget has been passed.
It's been passed, good.
2 meetings.
Rates have been
I'm
accepted.
sorry, I can't,
I can't keep track of the minutes when there's 2 meetings going on.
Hold
here.
on, just a second, Ms. Curitan. Some of these questions are not questions from the agenda. One.
these are questions that were on the agenda in August and I believe at the beginning of September that went unanswered. And so I'm just looking to discover if there has been any discussion with you and Ms. Zorb regarding these. And if they have not, it's perfectly fine. I'm solely just looking to make sure that things that have been discussed previously are not kind of skipped over and just jumped into other things, but we kind of make sure we cover all those other things too. And if you don't have it tonight, perfectly fine. I
Madam
just want to
Chair.
make sure it's still
Madam
on your
Chair.
radar.
Mr. Wilson?
I have no problem with Kathy Carrington's questions, but the questions that she asked and should have been asked back when the audience participation was there, and therefore we're in new business. Well, we need to move forward. So, I mean, like I said, you could just send them questions to us. And
Definitely, I would disagree with you, Mr. Wilson. As Ms. Dukestein had an opportunity to speak, you're not the chair, respectfully. So if the chair has a problem, I would ask the chair to make that comment. You're just a part of the committee. So if the chair would like for me to take my seat, I definitely have no problem. If you don't want to answer the questions tonight, these are just really simple questions, and I think we have the key people in the room right now. Ms. Anderson, I thank you for your presence. It's not taken for granted, and I just want to make sure that if there's anything that needs to be addressed, I don't want to just send an email. I have you here right now. Can I take 2 more minutes, Ms. Chichester?
I can't get, only allowed on the agenda 5 minutes for audience questions. 'cause
And that's
we
why I
have-
said I wanted to ask them. So I'll just wait. No problem. Not a problem.
But please, I'm sorry, Ms. Zorb, go ahead.
Oh, I keep speaking before you're finished, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, Ms. Carrington, please feel free to email us, and I'll get back with you. And I assure you, those things are not going to fall by the wayside. We will make sure everything that needs to be done gets done. Sure. Okay. Just give me some grace to get caught up. Thank you. Ms. Zorb?
So I would like to respond to,
If
the-
cannot respond, if I can ask my question, then don't provide a response.
it's a very simple response to the tax budget extension. As Ms. Anderson stated, council voted on that that's already been passed. So,
Yeah, she answered that.
yes, okay.
And we told you the ARPA funds are handled by Ms. Chamberlain.
Let's not discuss it if I can't,
Okay.
I don't want.
I just don't have answers for you, so I'm letting you know the appropriate personnel to address it to as well, so that they can give you accurate information. The last thing we want to do is misspeak or represent anything that's not accurate. New business, discussion for the meeting dates for the end of the year. My apologies for the November 12th meeting that we do have scheduled. I have a prior engagement and need to move that meeting date to another meeting. And the dates I have are the 19th, 20th, or the 21st.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Wilson?
I'm available any date.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say that again. What dates did you say?
November.
Can't make the 12th, right?
No, I can't. 19th, 20th, or the 21st.
We have a tree board meeting on the 20th that we could probably reschedule if we needed to. But other than that, I'm free. Well, I'm free the Tuesday and Wednesday, not the Thursday.
Look at my calendar. You're free to
Would-
Tuesdays and Wednesday, not the Thursday. And you said, Mr. Wilson, you're good?
Yes.
And to be clear, that is just for the regular council meeting?
That is our.
Sorry, the regular committee meeting.
Yes.
I asked that specifically because not everyone is on finance. So there are times in the past when we start discussing the budget, we do that in a committee of the whole so that all of council is here to go through it. And I'm not saying we have to do that, but it has been done at times.
I'll get with the other committee chairs and let them know that. We can do that Tuesday on the 19th.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson, the 19th, moving it?
That works for me.
Okay. And I'll get with the other committees and see if they need to move that. They want to move their meetings that day or not.
But they won't have, that's a Tuesday. They won't have other meetings that night.
No, I said I will see if they want, you said we wanted to get together as a whole, right? But not,
We will talk offline.
okay,
How's that?
okay. So I'll do the necessary moving process of and posting of the meeting date being moved. Anything else, Ms. Sorb?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Wilson?
No, ma'am.
All right. Meeting adjourned.